Hello guys, Wahoo here, and also with Fox that way. I gotta point the right way. Gotta make it the right way. Another episode of State of Trove. Again, this time this is the third episode. We got Fox on this time, and let's just jump into it. We have a lot of things to cover. We did have the Heroes update. That's why it's been a while since we've done this podcast, and I want to say thank you, Fox, so much for joining, and he will introduce himself a little bit here in the beginning. And let's just send it over to Fox.
Yeah, guys, I am the TheTattooedFox. As you can tell, heavily tattooed. I am a Trove streamer. Been doing it for a year and a half now. I'm thoroughly in love with this game. I really do enjoy quite a lot of the aspects of it. Obviously, there is some aspects of the game that do need sorting, which I'm hoping we're going to discuss about. But on the whole, it is a genuinely good game, and I really do enjoy streaming it.
Yeah. How long have you been streaming it?
So I've been streaming for a year and a half. Been playing pretty much exactly the same time. As everyone that knows me knows that I play when I play games, I get really heavily into it. And so I became really heavily addicted. I'm currently Mastery 503 with the new Vanguardian came out 2 days ago. I'm currently rank 55 in Vanguardian.
Oh, 55.
So nice. A lot, way too much.
Yeah, and what got you into the game? What?
So mainly the MMO aspect to it all. I've always been into MMORPGs anyway. I liked the whole take on kind of the voxel-based design of it all. I liked the take that they kind of seen that kind of Minecraft-y style where you could build your own cornerstones and club worlds and things like that, but really get sucked into building characters, being able to level up gear and feel more powerful, and then shadow towers and things like that.
Yeah, so it was the thing that drew you in was like the Minecraft and kind of MMO fused together kind of deal, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you hadn't touched it before, like Power Mantle and all that jazz?
No, never touched the game before, never heard of it. I literally just kind of spotted it on Steam, and me and my friend were like, oh, hey, that looks kind of fun. We'll try it out. I played it for a few days. My friend quit, and then I never ended playing it, and I've always really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things, at least that draws me into, games, that is like the daily thing, we always do your star. Well, I'm just going to log in, I have to log in every day, got the things, and I'm just going to do my star bar. And then you actually start playing a little bit more and stuff like that. So even days you're not really playing, you're still playing kind of.
Yeah, knowing that you can log in and actually get some sort of satisfaction and reward for coming back to the game is actually really enticing. Because even just doing your daily star bar, your weekly tomes, means that you're progressing through the game. So for people that don't play video games as much as kind of people like myself that play them way too much, that they still get that reward from logging in daily, and it means that you're going to be drawn back to the game, which is actually really nice. And there's no sort of kind of pay to win aspect inside of that. It's all kind of just like you can join the game straight away and get them daily rewards.
Yeah. So, do you ever play like just for fun? If you can say like that, do you play when you don't stream or don't have to do your quote unquote daily things?
Yeah, always. I'm pretty much always on the game because I love progression. I like feeling more and more powerful. I like seeing the leaderboards. That's a major thing for me is leaderboards, mastery, and power rank. Knowing that I am, topper, like higher than most other people, kind of gives me that sense of, well, I put this much time in and I'm actually being paid out for it. Yes, sometimes it might not be in rewards, but it's kind of in that gratification of knowing that, you've got that kind of all of those mounts and these wings, and you get these slight rewards from having different classes of really high power, and then being able to do shadow towers and things like that. And I just love being able to farm and see that progression through.
Yeah. So you mentioned yourself leaderboards and stuff like that. I talked about with Sky that was on the last podcast because she is also very high on the leaderboards. So what are your thoughts about they changed the leaderboards in the sense of, like, for example, the mastery one? You mentioned you 500, so I guess you're also pretty high on that one. You're at least getting the 2,000, right? But I don't know what you would be like post leaderboard update.
So currently I'm ranked 630 on the leaderboards. I honestly, with the rank 2000 plus, I honestly think it's actually a really, really good idea, because it means that people have always got that opportunity to get yellow name, and that they've got that work towards. Yes, it used to be 300, but 300 was honestly too easy to get. Whereas rank 2000, it means that it's always growing, and that you need to keep coming back and make sure that you keep working towards them goals. If you want to stay the best, then you've got to keep putting that ranking in. And keep trying to get the new mounts to come out and try and do all these different things. Obviously, trying to stay like top 100, top 10, you've really got to start putting some money in. But in the top 2000, you can stay free to play. And it's nice to know that you can actually do that. Obviously, some people do decide to go down the route of pay to win, whereas some people do stay free to play, which is completely fine. But it means that both parties have that opportunity to be able to do that. And it's actually really nice.
Yeah. The first person that was on there was Killer T. You know him.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a completely free to play player, and he is well, I don't know what his current mastery. He's in chat, but he's probably going to say what his mastery is. But it's definitely above 500 as well, and it's just a sentiment that it is possible to be a completely free to play player and still be on the highest. 520 he says right now, so it's 520 mastery he's on, being free to play.
Yeah, and it's really nice to actually see a player who is free to play and doesn't go out and rush out and buy all the packs and things like that, and know that you can still work towards that. A person of that high ranking really has obviously put a lot of hours and time into the game, and it's actually quite nice to see that a person that doesn't put money into the game is still climbing and is still being able to hold that high ranking. It's really, really pleasant to see, and it kind of gives players that have just started the game or haven't been playing the game very long kind of that feeling of knowing that they can reach the best and be the best of the best. Obviously, certain things are going to be a lot more difficult when you are a free to play, but that's just how it is, especially with power ranking and things like that. When it comes down to boosting your gems, things like that have just came out, being a free-to-play player, it's obviously going to be a lot harder than a person that's going to be putting money into the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's super important for a game like Trove that is free-to-play and has a lot of quote-unquote, people say, pay-to-win. And I get that in some way in the Patreon, but I kind of like it to call it pay to fast instead. But yeah. It's super important that we have people like Killer and all the other people that are 100% free to play and is like on the top of the top. In the respective, of course, there's still some barriers, of course, but shows you that to people that start this game that you don't have to pay to win, you just have to pay to fast if you are in that position, but you don't really have to.
Yeah, pay to win, I use it in a very, very loose term when it comes down to Trove. There's not many things that you can pay to win, and obviously most of the things that are on the market and things you can still buy with in-game currency such as Flux and things like that, like with credit pouches. So it's important that you've got that nice mixture of people that do put money into the game to be able to support the devs and be able to progress the game as it is, and also supports the free to players because they're the people that are going to be buying the credit pouches with Flux, things like that can start rolling it out. And it is quite nice actually to know that there's a nice balance between the people that want to stay free and people that want to pay real money to be able to just go and jump, skip certain areas and things like that.
Yeah, because we do have to realize that some people that, including myself, have a full-time job, and I don't have the time to dedicate. I don't want to dedicate that kind of time because I also want to, play something else with friends and stuff like that to be at where I want to be in the game. And I think it's great that that is an option, both of the one and the other. So
exactly. When I stream, I'm a streamer full time, and so I play a lot of Trove. I put a lot of time into it, and that's where most of my time does go. Whereas yourself, as a full time job, you don't have the time to be able to grind out 30 hours for a new dragon or things like that. So it's nice to actually know that you can kind of chuck some money into the game and be able to jump to that point where you're still playing with your friends. You know, you don't want your mates to be 25,000 KPR with purple name, but then you're still sitting at 10k because you've not had that time to be able to put into the game that they have, and you are able to put the money into the game to skip kind of that certain area to be able to get to that point where your friends are.
Yeah, 100%. And I do have to say that I think I'm at 400 now after I bought the pack, the Vanguardian pack, 400 loyalty or whatever it's called now, over the whole time. So I'm not like I don't think even I'm 400. I'm not sure how much loyalty points I have, but I haven't spent a lot of time or money on the game. I spent a lot of time on the game, but I haven't spent a lot of money on the game. When I started out playing again, I think it's actually the same time you started out. You said you started around like a year and a half, a little bit more than that. Yeah. So I started around the same time again. I've played in the alpha and the beta back then, before Power Mantle and stuff like that. And I came back from the 1 year anniversary, and I had Patreon for 3 months. I paid for that, but I haven't had Patreon since then. And it's a boost in the beginning, and it's really not more than that. So, yeah.
With touching on the subject of Patreon, obviously, everyone knows about the new weekly bonuses, which are going to is a massive now change when it comes down to Patreon and things like that, because it means that the free to players obviously get that Patreon. If they don't want Patreon, obviously, then they don't need to. But the people that are going to be buying Patreon are getting that extra little bit of reward, whereas the old bonuses didn't really feel like you were getting that much. Which I actually genuinely think is really nice. Like, obviously, double Lunar Souls for people, that's free on Mondays, and then triple if you're using Patreon on Mondays, which is really, really nice. And it's not too much of a gap where it feels too broken, but it's definitely a decent amount of gap where it's like, well, I may buy Patreon. You know, like, I'm going to put that extra bit of money in to be able to buy that Patreon.
Definitely. Right. I also had a question about, before we go into specifically the update, I had a question for you about, like, what is your, like, we talked about where you are now, or like your past and stuff like that, but what is the like future look for you? Like, what is your goal for the game?
My main goals are to max out all characters. That is one of my main things, kind of hit it 25k per character. That would be kind of nice. Obviously, I'm going to try and stay up to the times of the updates. So depending on kind of where the middle ground is or the higher ground for all the character PRs and things, I'm going to try and keep up to date with them. Make sure that I've at least got one character at max power rank, and kind of not become max mastery or anything like top 100 or anything like that, but always make sure that I'm not lagging behind, and always making sure that I am staying up to some of my friends who are top 100 mastery, top 100 power rank. Obviously, being an end gamer, you do become very, very good friends with a lot of other end gamers that do have kind of that higher power rank and things, and you want to stay up to date with that. And I think that's my main goal, is to make sure that I do stay up to date with kind of the new updates, the new classes, power rank upping, and mastery.
Yeah. I think that's a double for me. So yeah, definitely that's that. But it also I feel like Trove has been, for me at least, a game where you can set your own goals, and I think it's very important that you put your own goals into the game, because the game has its own goals in that sense, but they're very like get all characters, for example, 30 and 25,000 power rank. But that can seem very, very big for somebody, and then you can say, like, first I want to get all classes to like 5,000 power rank, right? That's when you get weekly, you get the free empowered gym boxes from all the classes that has rotation that week and stuff like that. And then you can go like, next time I want like all classes to 10 and then 15 and stuff like that. So I think it's a lot about giving your own goals and stuff like that, and also that is the same with the end game, feels like.
Yeah, definitely. When you hop into this game, they don't really... the one thing I do love is they don't hold your hand. Obviously, you do have a tutorial and things like that, but then they kind of just chuck you in the deep end. So you do really have to kind of set your own goals, because there's not really any quests. There's not anything like that. There's no storyline. So it's kind of like, well, I'm getting this first class to 10k. then I'm going to get this class to 10k, you know, and you kind of grow through it. And then some people will want kind of a max PR 1 class. Some of them want all other classes at an average PR of like 15, 20k. It's different goals for each person, I would say. Some people really don't mind about mastery. Some people think that it's the end of the world if they don't have yellow name.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of them things where you do have to focus on what you want and not what your other friends are doing. Because if you're going to try and follow your friends, they may be doing completely different goals to what you want to do. And it will make the game very boring very quickly. I think I found that when I first started, I had quite a few friends that were like 10, 15 KPR. And back then, that felt really, really daunting, knowing that my friends are a lot higher power rank. You know, they're in Uber 9, they're clearing it quite easily. And I was struggling behind, and it was difficult because I was like, oh, well, I want to get, you know, a 20k class. That, you know, that's my goal. But it really wasn't. My main one was mastery. I really wanted 300. So instead of going really, really hard on power rank, I went for mastery and got 300 mastery straight away. Whereas they were lagging behind on mastery, they had higher power rank. So it's definitely down to your personal kind of opinions on what you want.
Yeah, 100%, and that gives some kind of some kind of freedom, but it also can super some of the Trove goals, if you can call it like that. They are also can be kind of big for a new person and stuff like that.
Yeah, because when you kind of click into the badges and things and then look at all of the badges and it's like defeat a 300 ultra dreadnoughts, and it's like, wow, that's a lot of ultra dreadnoughts. You know, that's really daunting for a person starting, especially when they're not even close to being even able to enter dreadnought. And then when they first do it, realize, oh wait, I can't actually do this because it's way too difficult.
Yeah.
I honestly think that they need to adjust that main core aspect of being able to enter into Shadow Towers at certain power ranks. They need to up them. You know, I've seen a group of like 18Ks try and do Dreadnought, and they fail like every time. They can't do it. But then I've seen a group of 24, 25Ks going through and just clearing it straight away with ease. And they really need to adjust kind of that power rank entry level, because as a starter player, you'd find it very, very daunting to be able to do that.
Yeah, for Trove, it has definitely been like a major issue that level and power rank doesn't, like, I'm talking about portals and stuff like that. I'm talking about there was a player in actually in my chat yesterday that was he came back from the game like 2 years ago and stuff like that, and had like he was level 20 and had 1400 Fate Trickster, and you can, with the power rank he had, he can go to U6, but his level he could go to U6, but his power rank couldn't handle U6, for example, or Prime Roll 6. He can only do 3 or 4, and that's really the thing that misleads people in the beginning of Trove, that your power rank is not always the thing you have to go for. It's also your level, and that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, because level only means that you can equip more gems and things. And I think that they should actually look at it kind of like a gem rework of being able to teach starter players how gems actually work. Because the amount of people I've had in my stream that say, oh, well, I'm this power rank, why can't I clear these? You know, I've just got to 10k, why am I struggling in Uber 9? Why is it taking me 3 minutes to clear one dungeon and you can run through it, you know? They really need to look at that, because it's ridiculous how a player at 10k power rank can go into Uber 9 but then take 3-4 minutes to clear one dungeon, but then go into Uber 8 and be able to clear it straight away. They should really look at kind of how the entry levels work and be able to explain to starter players how power rank and how gems actually work, because most people don't know how they work. Most people don't know how rolls work. Most people don't know how boosts work. I had someone the other day that didn't know that when you hit 5, 10, and 15 on gems, you get a power boost. Obviously, it could be down to them not paying attention, but it's also down to the game not telling them that, that's a thing.
Yeah, it's not. There is a little message when you level up your gems, but it doesn't. It just says that you get an extra in major increase or something like that, and that is not enough information for a person that is starting out. Okay, it's getting extra. That's fine, great. But does that mean that it just got some more stuff, but it's not transparent that that is what we normally say that it's a 2-star stat now, or 1-star, or whatever you're going to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously end gamers know that, the best gems are the 3-star ones, and you need those gems, and you're looking for a certain amount of power rank. I think Trove should definitely look at kind of putting it in so you can jump on like a 5k power rank character and play around with the gems a little bit, then a 10k, 15k, and so on and so forth, and do it kind of like 4 times or 3 times, just so then the actual person knows, oh, this is how gems work. Oh, this is how gear works. Oh, this is what rolls I need. Kind of, different things like that, and actually explain to them what characters the stats need, like what stats the characters need, because some people don't know what stats each character needs.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there should be some kind of forced information from the game that pops up when you like hit a gem for like that, and then there's probably some pages or anything like that would like just the first time you level it up, right? Like, yeah,
just like a little guidebook or something that you can kind of like press a button, it will open, and it'll give you like little tips and tricks on what certain things do. Yeah. So like if you unlock a new character, you can click on there and it will say, oh, it is advised to use attack speed on this character with critical damage. This is because of blah, blah, blah. It would be helpful for people, even if it was just optional, so they could even just click on there and look at it and be like, oh, okay, cool, I need to get this. That would be really, really helpful, honestly.
They really enjoy the Cubesly ally, so they can just make in the corner a little Cubesly that like lights up, or like does the same thing when you have your like something you have to claim, for example. So it could light up like the same, and you just click that, and then comes up with a little talking bubble thing, and then says, "Oh, I see you have leveled your gem to 15. That means that it probably has an extra stat on it. Go to the gem forger and check it out if it has like something like that."
It would be really helpful, and then just do a very small reward for each thing. Even 100 flux kind of initiates that starter player to be like, oh, I'll actually go do this quest, because it gives them that little bit extra flux. Because when you're starting, 100 flux is a really, really big thing. So it would be nice to be able to do that, and so starter players actually had an idea what they were doing. Whereas instead of being like, oh, well, you decide, you figure it out, and you'll learn it by the time you hit 20k.
Yeah, exactly. And have it like the first character. The first time it hits it, and then later on it's like just don't get again. Chronosilla says actually in chat that they have had a talk with some of the devs a few times, and they say it's fine. The dev says it's fine, the entry power rank leveling, and they are not going to change it. But maybe at some point, hopefully it's something they can revisit. We can always kind of hope on that. They have gone back to some stuff, and let's hope that it's not going to stay that forever.
That's the thing. This is more like when it comes down to the devs and things, obviously they do look at certain things and certain aspects and decide, oh, well, this is okay. But as a player, we all know, kind of we put this amount of time in and we should be able to input this. And I think that they should, on a regular basis, check back and see what certain things are working, what aren't working. Even if it's like once a year or something, just do a massive like input of everyone just being like, oh, well, this is what's wrong. Oh, well, this, you should try and change this. I know that they look a lot at the forums and things like that, which is brilliant. But half of the time, it doesn't really get back to the devs, and they don't really have a look at anything else. But that's just kind of my own opinion about it.
Maybe they could set up like a council in some kind of way. I don't know if that sounds too much, but like where they bring in some of the streamers and like some of the big content creators on the platforms that like we listen to people every day, and it's also why the podcast kind of it came from, is that it was to discuss these issues and stuff like that, and maybe bring them to the developers and give them some little bit of information. And they could take some of us streamers, or kind of just have a rotation, like some come in and we talk about the game or discuss the game or anything like that. Would be like, because there is a lot of people playing and they can't listen to like every person, so it would be
definitely
kind of.
I really like the idea of working more with creators. Anyone that's been to my stream before knows that I talk a lot about the creator program, streamers in general, and kind of things like that, and how Tryon works with streamers. And I definitely think it would be a really, really good, beneficial idea to bring in larger content creators, people that have been streaming the game for a while, or have even been on the game for a while, people like Chronozilla that have been on the game for a very, very long time, that know a lot about the game and work very closely with a lot of the creators. And as you said, streamers listen and talk to people on a daily basis. You know, we sit here and we meet people all the time that have certain issues and things like that that need discussing or helping, and it would be nice to be able to kind of input that and be like, well, I heard this person said this, and they're having this issue. How could we look at this, you know, in a realistic sense? Obviously, it's not like, oh, we need to bring Flux back into the game because we're all poor. No, it's main aspects and main issues that we are that's undergoing on Trove.
Yeah,
that would definitely be a good idea.
Yes, exactly. All right, we've just discussed a lot of general things, but I think we should go into the update now. So the first thing I want to talk about is, of course, I think the update personally is great. I had a lot of fun playing it so far. I think the Vanguardian, I think we can skip to that. That's a little bit later than on the list now, but let's talk about the Vanguardian. And I'm only level 24, but I've been liking him. It seems very, very fun. I like the style of him having kind of two different play styles. And how do you feel about the new Vanguardian? I don't even know what level you are now.
I'm currently level 30, 23,620 power rank. So I've been playing him a lot in the past 2 days, a hell of a lot. And I absolutely love the class. I think it is one of the best classes that they put in the game, honestly. I'm a Shadow Hunter main, and I really, really love that. And playing this class has given me that new taste, and it is honestly wonderful to know that they're finally thinking of characters and classes that are different. I love his kind of like hero aspect where he flies around, destroys blocks when he lands. I think it's a really, really good addition to the class. I also love how as you said, with the switching abilities, the range effect really, really needs work. It's really, really buggy. Most of the hits that he throws don't hit. It doesn't connect in the slightest. So it's kind of inefficient to play in that format. However, his physical, where he's actually doing melee damage, is absolutely amazing. His one ability with the kind of like pyro disc, as it were, because it increases movement speed, does damage of AoE effects around him, is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, it's really, really good. The class is amazing. There's not many things that need working on. I would suggest kind of like look at different costumes and things, but that's more aesthetics. But the class as a whole is honestly one of my favorites.
Yeah, 100% mine as well. And that can actually kind of take us into because there is not a lot more to discuss about the Vanguardian. Like you said, there are a few minor things, like the range is bugged, but as it's kind of always has been with ranged characters in Trove, is that the range that always kind of lacks out in, even though that the gunslinger, I know is the bigger DPS, but it's still range is not completely the best in the game. But to talk about classes, actually, we also had the update for the as the Tryon World kind of dev says, the rework, which I am personally not saying it is, but they say it's a rework of the Dracolite. And you have actually been a Dracolite main, actually. As first of all, how do you feel? Have you tried the Dracolite out after the update?
So my Draco is currently 20k, 20 point something k. I have tried him out a little bit, not as much, because I've been kind of falling in love with the Vanguard. But from what I know, it's definitely not a rework. I wouldn't class it as a rework in the slightest. They have increased the damage, which is obviously, it was really, really needed. The damage was not high enough to kind of be beneficial in the slightest. Most classes were outputting more damage to him than the Draco at all. The bomb rework, the bomb change, however, where he spawns minions every time, is absolutely phenomenal. It is one of the best things that they've done for the Dracolite, because of that, it means that he's actually more reliable in Shadow Towers when you're farming, things like that. It means that you can actually output that damage that you need to be able to do different things. I currently have a health build Draco with about 6 mil health, but I am going to be turning him into a damage Dracolite just to test out his damage and things. But from what I've been talking to people about the Dracolite, they've really liked the new kind of update to him. I still think that there's other classes that do need working on, but the Draco is definitely not one of them anymore, thankfully.
So on the subject of it's is it in your opinion a rework, as you said, or is it just a buff?
No, it's a buff. I wouldn't class it as a rework in the slightest. I would suggest it was just a buff because all they've done basically is change his damage output, movement speed, things like that.
Yeah.
They've just made him more reliable. Rework would suggest more changing character models and kind of the abilities that he outputs, and that's not how it is. He's always had the ability to be able to kind of spawn his mini minions with the bombs. However, they've changed it, so it means that they spawn every time instead of once in a blue moon.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I said on my new show. Every time I kind of discuss the sort of rework, or what they called it, is that it's to the Knight and again to the Fey Trickster that was reworked before. Those are also to me only buffs. When it's a rework for me, is that you rework the gameplay of it. You know, it works in a different way. I know that you don't like Dracolite don't really need a rework in that sense in the gameplay, maybe, but it's just that's something that I was wishing that subclasses would change. You know, so you could use it. You basically had your personal style. There will always be like the best style, of course. There's always going to be like the Lunar Lancer, for example. That's going to be the best subclass, whatever. But you could in your play style actually be take my own personal. The best subclass for the Shadow Hunter, for example, is the Gunslinger, because if you're jumping this guy, you do more damage to the things and stuff like that. But I actually just use the Pirate Captain, but it's also because it's my what's it called? My Magic Find character, right? But it's something personal, but it's not something personal. It doesn't change any of the classes. It's just a stat stick, these subclasses. And I would love to see some kind of rework, or maybe just call it buff, instead of calling rework, because it's definitely not really a rework for me.
Yeah, I honestly, they use the term rework very, very loosely when it comes down to Trove, and I don't think they actually know what they mean by rework. Subclasses is definitely something that needs looking into. I think they rushed it and kind of just slapped it in there and was like, oh, we have this too. Yeah, as me personally, I pretty much just use Pirate Captain, obviously because it gives that extra magic find. And to me, I'm at the power rank now where I don't really need that extra damage, apart from when I'm in Shadow Towers. But because I'm not a speedrunner, it's not too much of a worry for me. Whereas I prefer the extra magic find to get better loot, to be able to earn the flux that I need in game.
Yeah, definitely. And that actually could something they actually said. Now we're talking about subclasses, classes, and stuff like that. They actually asked about if they wanted to see a more of a work on their subclasses or more classes. And what is your opinion on that? Do you think we should see more classes and just like forget that subclasses ever happened and just have them as stat sticks, or actually have the subclasses actually do something?
I honestly I'm a little bit on the bench for both, because me personally, obviously, I love working towards something. So new classes would be amazing, because I love being able to kind of experience that new feel. And the way they're taking it from Vanguardian, if they make more classes in that style, where it's a lot different from anything else we have in the game, then bring more classes on. Honestly, it would be a really nice idea. Subclasses, I'm a little bit half and half on, because I really love the idea of subclasses, but again, they are completely useless at the moment. They just give a slight bit of extra stats. But if they are going to be looking into them, then that would be really nice to be able to bring that update. But honestly, in my opinion, I'd probably go with that extra classes, because I like that extra mastery, and just kind of that feeling of achievement when you kind of max that new class out and got into a decent power rank. That's quite nice.
Yeah, 100%. I think it should be kind of a mix, in the sense that they would maybe work on a new class, but also not forget the subclasses, because I think that subclasses, I don't know if it's something personal, because Path of Exile before that is a different game. Actually introduced subclasses as well, and that changed like the whole gameplay of like everything. And maybe that was what I came from or had, well, kind of compared it to. But yeah, then I just got a little disappointed that it didn't have the same effect on a lot of classes, because there's a lot of classes I like, but they're just need some rework basically.
They need some love.
Yeah. And Chronozilla actually says also in chat that next patch subclasses actually are going to get some love, so that's good to hear. That is good to hear. I think, well, talking about like the next patch and stuff like that, they did mention that they're going to get we're going to get 3 more major updates, and of course some small ones in between. But that is the question: is it 3 more? But that means that we're getting 3 major updates this year, or we are getting 2 more because this was one of them.
This is the thing with Tryon. Obviously, they can't declare how long it's going to be until they release a new update and things like that. They just kind of touch on the subjects. And what I've noticed from the year and a half of playing, that their large updates take a very long time to come out. And obviously, they do take a lot of work and things like that. However, their small updates are very, very not kind of impactful in the slightest. So it's all kind of depending on what they call large update and small updates, because is it going to cause an impact? Like the small updates, are they going to actually change anything, or is it going to be another addition to the game that isn't really going to do a lot, and it's going to kind of go into the background? Like looking at these boons and things, without the boosters, the boons are practically nothing. Obviously, this month's boosters has been the water gem empowered box thing that was like 18 boosters, and honestly, it was completely worthless. It was pointless.
It's been
as
that
a start
every
player,
time.
it'd be great, but as a start player, it'd be great. But as an end gamer, there's nothing there for me. Why would I even do that? It's pointless for me. And then it's just it slightly irks me.
Yeah, they do call it a major update and then small ones between. So I think when they mean a major one, they mean like on the scale that we had the Heroes update. And if that's 3 more this year, that seems like a lot to me. That because it is about, I don't want to say it's 6 months since we got the adventure update, but it was last year, and that's 3 months since then. So if they had to pump out 3 more major updates, and with them saying there's not going to be more classes this year, I'm really curious on what those major updates are going to contain. If there's going to be, if they're going to be major enough.
Major enough to make an impact.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly think that they need to be very careful, I think, with these updates, because if they are announcing obviously 3 more updates this year, then they are seriously putting pressure on themselves and pressure on kind of how the game is already running. So as everyone knows, the servers aren't fantastic, they're not great, and obviously pumping more stuff in there is not going to be great. I would rather them kind of bring out, say, 1 more update this year, but then bring out a big update for the new server and like really upgrade it and make it a lot better. I think a lot more people would take that on, rather than, oh, here's some more dragons, oh, here's some more costumes, things like that, and oh, here's a storyline that you complete in 2 hours and then forget about. That's kind of one of their things, is that they like to kind of pump out these miniature storylines that they're going to be like, oh, this is should take you 2 weeks, and it doesn't. It takes most people, a few hours to complete the entire thing. But yeah.
It is curious to me about the major updates, if it's going to have, like you said, any impact. They have said that we are going to see sub biomes to all the new the old biomes. I don't think it's going to be for the Forbidden Spires though, but I think that's really a good idea, because the new sub-biome from the Neon City biome is absolutely amazing. I think it revamps it a lot, and I think a lot of the other ones definitely needs that. But I don't think like a sub-biome is like, hey, that's a major update in that sense. I don't want to call it a small one, but I don't want to call it a major either. So it's like a weird place between that.
It's definitely in the middle of the kind of the larger updates and smaller updates. This update, personally, I would class it as a larger update, mainly because of the new class. Obviously, that takes a lot of work to be able to put a new class into the game and new things like that. The sub-biome was kind of like on the back burner, as it were, but I definitely love the new sub-biome. And it means that Neon City actually has that nice little rework that means that you want to go there to go complete that new dungeons. I found myself, I pretty much only farm in elemental worlds instead of Prime. I've actually found myself going to Prime to be able to go to the new Luminopolis so I can have a look around, because it does look really, really nice. And obviously bringing in the new materials and things, it means that I want to go and search for the new games instead of just being like, oh, well, what's the point? I'm going to go to Fireworld and get some gems. I'm going to go to Water and Air because I need them dust. Prime means that I can actually go there and have a look at the new biomes. I really, really loved Forbidden Spires. I loved the take on it, and I cannot wait to be able to see what kind of thing that they do with the new rework on all the older worlds, because obviously they're a little bit plain and they're a little bit boring, and they definitely need that kind of that rework.
Yeah, that boost to spike the interest. Yeah, definitely. And talking about update and stuff like that, and the massiveness there is to this update. We also had a revamp of the daily bonuses. So that we haven't seen an update for that since I started playing, and I guess you as well. And if somebody's actually watching this afterwards, that the Heroes update actually came out, I can actually explain a little bit about how the days were actually done, because Mondays were only like farming sunlight bulbs or stuff like that, like harvesting your crops and stuff like that. Tuesdays was ores. Wednesdays still gems. Thursdays were nobody played Thursdays because it was just the venture boxes, and nobody really cared about those because it's all random when you get them. Fridays were shadow shards and radiant shards, so people were farming that, so they were farming shadow towers on Fridays and stuff like that. Saturday was XP day. That's still XP day, it's just a little bit more boosted like Wednesday is. I actually tried getting one of the new boxes on Wednesdays, those luminous gem boxes, whatever they're called. They're amazing because you get I would call it the silver, the builders augmentation. You can get one of those. You can get dust, and there was one more thing you get. They're really amazing, and when you don't get a lot of them, I got like farming 3 hours. I got 2 or 3 of them. I think 2. And those are really great, absolutely amazing. So just made Wednesdays even better. And then Sundays, of course, was PvP, and now they've changed PvP to Saturdays. So the new days that you probably see is a lot better, and it actually makes an incentive to play all days now. Maybe debatable, Sunday might still be the worst day to play, but I think the days has definitely been boosted in a very, very positive way, and I think that has also piqued my interest definitely to that. This update has been amazing for the whole game.
Yeah, with the new daily bonuses, actually, I'm really, really happy with pretty much every day, because it helps out starter players, it helps out people that are in the middle ground, it helps out end gamers. So on Mondays, you've got like Shadow Day, which gives you the bonus shards. You got bonus Lunar Souls, Titan Souls, all these things that you do need. Even if you are end game, you're going to need them rerolls, the boosters, things like that. So that's going to be helpful. Gathering Day on Tuesday, obviously fish or run Radiant Shards. As an end gamer, you don't really need that much. However, it can help you out. Gem Day, obviously everyone loves a good Gem Day. Triple gem boxes is a thing, which is amazing. And we know the 6 lustrous gem boxes, or the 3 if you're on non-Patreon, is really, really nice. Being able to kind of get that is absolutely amazing. Having kind of that little bit of an incentive to actually play on that day to get them drops is really, really nice. Being able to pull what I pulled a reroll, which is a really hard kind of thing to get unless you're doing it on Monday. And means that I can change a stat on one of my classes, and that gives me that little bit of incentive to play. Adventure Day is again, really good because the new adventuring, and the new extra talisman drops. If you are missing talismans, or even if you're not, there's a really good day to grind on because of the extra talismans, being able to sell them. Getting that extra flux is really, really nice. Friday being Dragon Day, obviously really, really helpful. Everyone always needs dragons, and if you don't need dragons, you're going to need the dragon coins to make the new dragons that they'll bring out, or the new Luxion to buy all the things that that you're missing in the game. It's really nice, and being able to get them extra fragment drops, things like that. And then you got XP Day and Loot Day. Obviously, they're okay days. They're not amazing for an end gamer. Most people that have got kind of max characters to 30, Loot Day is okay, I guess. You know, you get the extra kind of magic find, the triple chance of the artifacts, and the increased chaos drop, which can help out everyone. You know, starter gamers obviously need that extra magic find to be able to get that better gear, and then the flux artifacts are just kind of that nice little juicy bonus, just to be able to kind of get that extra little bit of flux, which is always nice.
Yeah, it definitely 100%, and it. Some people are saying, like in chat, that Sunday is actually going to be much better than we think that it's going to be. So we might have to see that. We haven't seen Sunday yet because this is recorded on Thursday. We only had the update for 2 days so we haven't even gotten like Monday and stuff like that in this rotation. So we'll have to see how good Sunday actually is. But it makes actually you want to play the other days as well. You know, it's not like I always had my schedule that I was playing Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday. But now I could definitely be tempted to play on Thursdays and also Tuesdays, relatively. But definitely Thursdays as well as again.
Yeah, it means that you do want to keep coming back to the game every day because you've always got that nice little bonus. Whereas before, you didn't really have them days. You had them days where you're like, oh, I don't really mind. You know, Adventure Box Day, it was like, I don't really care about Adventure Boxes. You know, you don't really get much from them. There's no real point playing. Whereas now it's like, well, if I miss this day, I'm going to miss, extra Dragon Coins. Or if I miss this day, I'm going to miss getting shadow shards and lunar souls and things like that. It's really, really handy, and it means that you want to come back to that game to be able to get them bonuses and kind of get that step up on the people that aren't playing on them days.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've covered like most of the things. Did we cover? I did cover most of the questions that I had for you and that I thought we had to discuss. Did we cover like most of it, or do you have anything we didn't really cover?
I would say we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah. And generally, like we only had the update for the expansion. I like to use that word as well sometimes. For a couple of days. But the Dragonlight, the Vanguardian is definitely a 100%. It's 100% a very good class, and it's not to say that they can make it well as what is it called, as a good class maybe next time. They are, like we said before, they're not introducing more classes this year. They've said that might change. We don't know yet, but they said that they weren't going to introduce more, which I kind of feel like is a little bit underwhelming. But again, we just have to see. I did put down, somebody's saying the rampages. I did put that in the questions as well, but I didn't know if that was a subject we should go into. But what do you feel about actually the rampages?
Rampages are a little bit iffy for me. I like the fact that rampages are a thing. I honestly do like the fact, that you wander around, you'll find the boss in Luminopolis, and you'll, try and defeat it, and it takes loads of, like 8 people to be able to kill it. I really, really like that fact. It means that you have to be working as a team and that you can summon them in Club Worlds. I'm a real big fan of that. However, I don't like the fact that it only spawns in Luminopolis. I would prefer it to spawn in every biome, like everywhere. Obviously not too many, but kind of in every place, because it means that the people that can't get into Uber 3, that have just started, are now losing out because they can't get to Uber 3. They can't get to the Neon biome, and I think it's kind of like, oh, well, I can't do this challenge now because I can't get there. It's not fair. I think they should be able to spawn everywhere. That would be kind of nice. I'm not a fan of the way they're designed, personally. I think it looks lazy because they basically just took the Shadow Tower bosses, recolored them, and then whacked them out. And I think that they should have kind of looked at new bosses, like they did with Dreadnought and Hydraken, that they should have looked at kind of building this new character that you could be really, really excited about to see, whereas they've just basically reskinned the bosses.
Yeah, 100%. And something you mentioned yourself, it takes 8 people to take it down. You can take it down like by yourself if you want to, because you can just dig a hole and it can be in there. And like you said, they're really lazy kind of bosses, if you say it like that. It's just running around, and they really actually don't do a lot of damage to, like, I know to maybe to new players, but I'm talking like in-game players and stuff like that. Something they might be interested in is actually that it actually scales off how many people that is damaging in. So you could actually do it yourself, these rampages. So it would be really easy if you're alone, but then it's going to take even long. It might take long to take down if you're alone, but still it would be a challenge for more people or something like that. I'm not sure how that's going to be designed, or if that's even an idea, or what complications that makes, but I'm just saying it's just, you're just standing there just doing 1 damage to these things, and then it goes down, and that's it. It's I thought it was gonna, when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be complicated. I don't know, I'm probably not gonna do these rampages because I'm like, it's too complicated. I didn't really look into it, whatever it was. And then now that I've tried it on live, I was like, these are just, yeah,
they're very underwhelming. It would have been nice to see kind of like a random portal spawning in worlds and things that you go into a portal and it takes you to this world, and then you have to go to like defeat this dungeon and then get to the main boss like you do in Shadow Towers, but like a randomly generated portal spotted around the world with a brand new boss in it. That would be really, really cool. Something like that instead of being a randomly spawned boss that just looks like a Shadow Tower boss. I think it was very lazy of them to do that, to just reskin. They should have kind of really looked into it and really brought some hype around like this whole new boss thing, and kind of made it a little bit frightening, leaked a little bit on Twitter or something, or on stream, and just kind of showed slightly of what the boss looks like, and then make a massive like announcement of this is what it looks like, make sure you go defeat him every hour, kind of thing. I'm also not a fan of how they kind of are rotating the rampage with the Dragon Coin challenges. I'm not a massive fan of that, obviously, because Dragon Coins are such a big thing in the game that you need Dragon Coins, and a lot of them, it can take a while to be able to get the Dragon Coins to be able to make the dragons. Obviously, you do want the game to last as long as you possibly can as a developer, but as a player, sitting there going, oh, is this hour going to be Rampage or is this hour going to be Dragon Coin, is slightly annoying. I think they should have done it both at the same time.
So I'm guessing that now we're talking about hourly challenges and those. I guess that you, as me, probably don't do like the biome challenges where you have to go and have a specific class, be in a specific biome, then do like dungeons in there, and then first you do, is it 5 dungeons you do first? I can't even remember anymore. Something like 40, that, and then and I know you get those points if it's See, I can't even remember how it works anymore. The hourly challenges. They are
honestly, they are completely pointless. I don't touch them. I literally only do the collection challenges because it takes me a few minutes to complete, and then that's it. I forget about it again. Which I guess is fine, but.
Yeah, actually, there's some coin collections I don't even do because some of them are not very good, I feel. But I'm on the same. I do the hourly challenge if it's a collection challenge, and then I take the time out, time to do it basically. But if it's like a biome one where I have to go somewhere specific and stuff like that, sometimes I do it because I'm right there, but it's only if I'm right there. It's like, oh, okay, this challenge actually. Oh, there's a biome right there. Oh, I'm actually in there. And then suddenly, sometimes I get surprised that I actually do the hourly challenge because I'm in that specific biome on a specific character or something like that. It's like, I don't take the time to do those. Yeah, gotta say. So
exactly.
Yep. So we also covered the rampages. There was a lot of minor updates and stuff like that. I will, of course, put all the information that we talked about, like the patch notes, in the description so people can go read them if you want to, if you haven't covered them all. There's also specific numbers to the Dracolite and stuff like that, because we talked about it, but we didn't like go into exact numbers on what got buffed and stuff like that. But we did cover most of it. We did most of it basically. So I think that covers everything. I think we did a pretty good job. We got a really good discussion out of it, and I think hopefully it gave some information on our perspective and stuff like that. So I want to say thank you so much, Fox, for being on this and taking the time to do this. I was quite excited when you said yes, because it's always great when people want to do this with me. And you got anything to say? You can also. It is, of course, if you don't know, it's actually under your picture right now. There's the URL to, or your link to your, and that'll also be in the description, of course, the link to your Twitch, so people can go check you out and stuff like that if they want to see more of that beautiful model face you have.
Yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to yourself, Wahoo, because it's actually nice to be asked as a creator, what's your opinion on this? I've spent the past year and a half kind of being ignored by Tryon and pushed to the back. So it's kind of nice to actually be able to sit down and talk to someone about my opinions of the game and what I actually think, and, how is my perspective on the updates that are coming out, things like that. Obviously, if you do want to come see a guy that is very opinionated, then you're more than welcome to come drop by my Twitch. I pretty much stream all the time, and I'm always on the game. I'm also always here for advice, so if you need any, just drop me a line, and I can help out, honestly.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I will already just post his your on my. Let's see if I can type this correctly in the Twitch chat as it is now. But if you're on, like I said. If you are on, YouTube, if you're watching in there, you can go to the description. You can find all the information that we talked about, and of course find Fox's information, like I said. And as you said, the developer does a stream like every Friday. And it's very much, I feel like those are very like buff pieces, if you can call it like that. It's kind of a term that a journalist has, where it is like all is good, all is great, all is fine, and all that jazz. And I'm not saying that this podcast is about just pulling down the game and saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It's also about pulling out good stuff and like showing this is the Vanguardian is actually amazing and really good job about that. But it's about having a discussion and talking about there might be some few issues here. This is maybe how we can fix it. We're not the developers. That's of course their end. It's our game, but it's also their game in that sense. So it's not to rack down on the game, definitely not. It's to have an open discussion and an open dialogue with like the community and us, the streamers, the content creators, both on YouTube, on Twitch, and also the developers. We are all one big community, and that's all it's all about. It's about just making a great game. And the thing we actually love to play, and the people that play it, that's what it's all about. So we didn't discuss this, Fox. Are you going to stream after this?
I'm not. No.
Okay.
I'm gonna go eat my dinner and watch a film with my fiance.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I want to say before we end, guys, I am going to give away the 20 Streamer Dreamer codes now that we end here. So don't go anywhere. We will give away. I will give you the information to the code or what you have to type in chat for these codes. Remember that before, probably you're going to stay around, but tomorrow Fox is having his birthday stream, and he's giving away
around about 14 million worth of flux in items.
And you shouldn't join in on it because I want to win it all. So no, you should definitely check it out on his channel tomorrow. He's going to stream for 12 hours. There's going to be plenty of stuff to win. I will also do a giveaway on Saturday. The new Streamer Dreamer codes, I will be giving them away on Saturday. So make sure you also tune in on Saturday. I actually pushed mine because I wanted to watch Fox all day tomorrow. So I pushed mine to Saturday. So with that said, I want to say thank you again, to Fox, and if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you in the next episode of State of Trove.